Have a look at the field. We've got a field of 12 to go, including some last time winners or previous winners of this race, including Keshwar and Contender. To Mr. Spielberg, looks hard to beat in this. Laughing Gravy, the QE2 Cup winner, so already a Group 1 winner from earlier on in the season, and Bahana probably to go around as the favourite on the strength of some very good recent form. Squire Osbaldiston and Newland's a couple for the St George stable down the bottom. Okay, let's have a look at the Raffles Cup here, and Keshwar did best of these. Mr. Spielberg a little bit tight for room. He looks to be tuned up for a very good run, Spielberg.
He does indeed. I really like him in this, a bit like yourself, Craig. But Keshwar, former winner of this race, he went round and won this back in 2014 with only 51.5, I think he eventually carried. He's also a Singapore Derby winner, 5th last year. But he's got a big weight to carry, but he's a classy horse and he's good enough to carry it, I think. But the trends will tell you probably don't want as much weight. I think that's fair to say. But those in behind him, they're all coming into it in pretty good form. And as you say, none more so than Mr. Spielberg, and anyone that has seen his track work and will have a look at it, they'll be pretty impressed.
Yes, I think so. Now, this is Keshwar. He's on the outside of Contender. You would just say the way they're racing at the moment, Cotender's got no chance of beating Keshwar, huh?
Yeah, very disappointing run last time in behind Bahana. We'll have to bounce back. It's amazing, actually. I think he's only won one race in Singapore, and it was this race 12 months ago. So he certainly reserved his best for a top race like this. But as you say, I just think against his stable companions, those from Pat Shaw's, he might just struggle.
This horse has been very stiff, Majestic Moments. He's been a bit unlucky not to pick up one of these good races along the way. Yeah,
he's certainly capable, Majestic Moments, and well, if he gets all the breaks and gets the luck this Sunday afternoon, he could be a big chance as well. But I think Keshwar the one for Pat Shaw.
Yeah, the wildcard horse in the race is Laughing Gravy, the QE2 Cup winner. He's had 3 recent barrier trials, and to be ridden on the weekend by Michael Rodd.
Michael Rodd, can you add one more Group 1 to what's been a sensational 2016 season with this horse, Laughing Gravy?
Yeah, I'd like to think we can. You don't want to get too greedy, and but the horse is going really well. Unfortunately, he did miss a little bit of work, but not a great deal. He's a natural stayer. He's a horse that you don't see the best of him till he does get to 2,000 and beyond. So it's not like we're playing catch up with a horse that we're trying to see that will run the 2,000 metre, where you need to get the miles into their legs. We know he runs the distance, and you know he's had some really good runs leading up to Sunday, and a couple of good trials. He trialled this morning, and he copped a bit of a bump at the start, so I just had to let him find his feet, and that took about 100 metres, and by that time the trial field had got away from us, but he finished off nice. I'm really happy with him. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we can get another one.
Do you go into the race with an open mind about whether you go forward or do you go back? I mean, tactically he's sort of been good both ways, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He's tactically he's great. Like I said, he gets these distances, and he can sort of he really comes into his own. Ideally, I think it's not a full field, so look, I'll be looking to be up on the speed, and we'll just let him work the way out. If he's in front cantering along, then good as gold. If something wants to lead him along, or you know, if he's back a little bit further, like you said, he's shown he can come from anywhere, but he's a true stayer, and you know, we don't want it to be too much of a sit and sprint. He'll be rolling into it.
And how confident are you that he's come through that little setback okay?
Look, the horse in himself looks fantastic, and I think obviously that's our biggest guideline. You look at him, his coat's really good, and he's really well within himself. I've canted him up the back track before a couple of times, and he gets his head down and wants to try and get rid of you and that. So he's feeling really well within himself, and confidence-wise, you know, it's these, especially the Gold Cup, it's a very hard race to win. It's I'm very lucky that he's got a riding weight that I can ride him at 54.5. So, you know, with that weight on his back, if he's at his best where he was, at the start of the year when he won over this distance, then he might take a bit of catching.
Certainly anywhere near his best, he'll run a big race. And let's have a look at this track work of Mr. Spielberg. We've been building it up right throughout the programme. I'm sure viewers agree it's very good work.
Yeah, I think rightly so, Craig. You can see him this near side red cap, and he goes about this piece of work really well for Vlad Jurek, Valbuena towards his inside, and it was a really good time for the last 600. He's clearly in really, really good form, this horse, and I think myself, yourself, we both fancy him, and plenty others will as well.
This guy's always had a touch of excitement about him, blue Swede, but hard to see him coming out and win this. He'd have to put in a PB.
I think so. It certainly need a few to perhaps underperform. I've got a big question mark, Craig, regarding the distance for him. I certainly think he probably wants a little bit shorter. this horse, but he's found himself in the race, so he deserves his chance, and very best of luck to all concerned, but I certainly think he might just struggle against some of these really good stayers.
Okay, so there's Blue Sweet. Let's have a look at Bahana. This is potentially the favourite for the race. Certainly the early corporates in Australia had him as the favourite. Plenty of arrows here, and he was good last time, Bahana, in winning this race, the Eldorado.
Yeah, he was very good indeed, as you say. Plenty of horses coming through this race. Craig Williams will be on board, and he only gets to 50.5, so he's got absolutely no weight on his back whatsoever. Stephen Gray's trainer has got 3 runners in the race. This, obviously, his best chance on what form we've got to go on. He's won 4 of his last 5. Ultra progressive. Look, he's going to have to step up again. He's bumping into some useful types, Quechua, Mr. Spielberg's, Laughing Gravies, but listen, he's on an upward curve, and I certainly wouldn't want to desert him anyway.
Okay, let's have a look at Newland as the last horse in the replay package here. Danielle Johnson flies in and takes the race. Very strange race in that Nunez, Beasley, Corey Brown, John Powell, Glenn Boss don't have a right.
It is, isn't it? It's rather astonishing, but Danielle Johnson does, and I'm sure she'll be making the most of this trip to Singapore. This was the 3rd placed effort from the 30th of October over the 1600 metres. Nice enough performance in behind Mr. Fantastic. Up in trip, drawn 7, no weight. Interesting, but I think still got a little bit to find.
Okay, well, visually we've shown you all the big players there in the Dester Singapore Gold Cup. Time for selections. I'm going to go with Mr. Spielberg. I think Nick agrees with me. I think Quechua's in very good form at the moment, Bahana and Majestic Moments.
Yeah, indeed. It was a really competitive one to try and sort out this, but Mr. Spielberg on top, I think, on that recent bit of grass work, certainly the pick for me. Quechua, hopefully he can go well. Laughing Gravy, Majestic Moments, my 4.